When should women get mammograms? The government task force says most women don't need mammograms in their 40s and should get one every 2 years starting at 50. That's a stunning reversal in its policy and a break with the American Cancer Society's long-standing position. The Cancer Society has been recommending annual mammograms beginning at 40, and it's staying with that position. And joining us now to discuss the new recommendations is Dr. Heidi Rafferty, Medical Director of RMH Breast Care and a breast surgeon. Dr. Rafferty, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, your reaction to the recommendation of the government task force.
Well, my reaction was surprise and great dismay at the dramatic changes that are proposed. And I'll just tell you right off, I'm sorry to be using some notes, Bob, but this is such an important topic. I want to be certain that I deliver the information that I think is really important for women to get, because this is a stunning reversal. I think one of the things that I want to cover is that this research really looks at the effect of breast cancer screening on the overall public, not on individual women.
All right. Now, in their reasoning, the government panel of doctors and scientists concluded that getting screened for breast cancer so early and so often leads to too many false alarms and unneeded biopsies without substantially improving women's odds of survival. So how do you respond to what they say?
Well, what my response is that to look at their reasoning. And their reasoning is that starting mammograms later, i.e. at 50 years of age, and doing them less frequently, every other year as opposed to once a year, would save a lot of money. The flip side of that, which the researchers acknowledge, is that this would mean an increase in 3% more women who would die from breast cancer every year. So that is that the amount of money saved was greater than the value of more lives saved. And that, I think, is the rub.
So the problems with that reasoning, because in your view, because we're always talking about risk versus benefit of taking extra tests and extra these types of things in medicine.
I see 4 problems with their analysis. The research is based on older machines, older mammogram machines, not the digital machines. The digital mammography represents dramatic improvement, and as you know, RMH has been so glad to have all digital all the time, even on our mobile van. The digital mammography piece of it is very important. Secondly, I think that the research itself does not consider the benefit of early detection in combination with new treatments. That leads to increased survival rates, something that you can't put a monetary figure on. Thirdly, the proposed new guidelines mean that many breast cancers can be diagnosed at a much later stage when it's more advanced. And that's going to lead to increased metastatic spread and, of course, decreased survival. And lastly, and most importantly, is that younger women will be diagnosed later. Younger women tend to have more aggressive cancers, and so when we see that they are going to be diagnosed later, that's in direct conflict with the fact that earlier diagnosis and treatment, especially in young women with aggressive cancers, leads to increased survival rates.
Okay. Now, another recommendation, the government task force also says breast self-exams do no good and women shouldn't be taught them.
Oh, this makes me absolutely crazy. I will tell you that in my practice right now, within the past 2 weeks, I have had a young woman who came in, early 30s, who had a breast lump that she found on examination. Her mammogram was negative, and yet she has a fairly large tumor, and it has already spread to a lymph node. So that in and of itself is just a single example from one woman's practice in 1 week. No one knows a woman's breast landscape better than herself. And to say that we should not be examining ourselves and have the potential for finding a cancer before it's detectable by mammogram, no matter what age we start with the mammogram, I think is a grave injustice to women.
All right. Dr. Heidi Rafferty, Medical Director of RMH Breast Care and a breast surgeon, I want to thank you for joining us.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
And now let's send it to Mel.